Hey everybody, this is VideoFort Brendan back with another exciting tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about selecting clips for your sequence. Once you have your project and your sequence set up and you're ready to start making your video, you have to view and select your footage and cut it down. You can't just grab the raw shot and throw it in the timeline. You got to cut it down and tell a story with it. And that's the main goal with editing, is telling stories. So take this shot for example. It's a nice aerial shot looking straight down of New York. Passes over Times Square, nice pretty shot, and then it goes past Times Square. So for this shot, the interesting part is right when it goes over Times Square, right here. There's lots of lights, lots of cars, lots of people, there's a lot going on. And this is the part that I want to put in my video. It's pretty interesting, it's a lot more interesting than this area over here, and certainly more interesting than this. So you don't want it to be too long before it gets to the action and too long after the action. So to do this, I'm going to select, I want to have it a little bit before, a little bit after, but not too much. Maybe right about there. So this is where I want the footage to come in, because over here it's kind of slow, kind of boring. So I want the footage to come in right here, right when Times Square is right about at the top, right about here. So to do that, I got to set my in and my out point. The in point is the beginning of the clip, and the out point is when you're done with the clip. So to add an in point, you hit, the shortcut on the keyboard is I, and when you want to add your out point, which I'd say is right about here, once Times Square is no longer in the shot, you hit O. Or you can come right here. These are also mark in, mark out, which if you want to see what any of these buttons do, you just move your mouse over the icon and it'll tell you what it is, and it'll also tell you the shortcut for that. I find using shortcuts a lot quicker and easier than having to come down here and press one of these buttons every single time. So I have my in and my out point, which are right there. Right here it'll tell you the frame, if you're on the frame of your in and or out point. Boom, there you go. So now let's watch this clip. Boom, there you go. Any longer than that, it get kind of boring. Over here, it tells you how long your clip will be if you pull it from these in and out points that you currently have. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a pretty shot, so I'm going to pull it down. I haven't created a timeline yet, or a sequence. If all of my footage is going to be the same settings, same resolution, same everything, then what I can do to create a sequence that matches those settings is click right here on the footage, click and hold, and bring it down to this little icon right here, which will create a new sequence with the settings of this clip. So I'm going to go ahead and let go, and there you go. Look at that. Now I have a sequence with the settings of the shot that I just pulled into it. So now my shot is in the timeline. You can see it over here in the viewing window. This is the window where you can see everything, all of your shots that you've cut down laid out next to each other. This is where your final video will be. Now that my cut down shot is in the timeline with all the fat trimmed off the ends, I can view it just as the edited shot. If you look right here, it created a sequence. So this symbol means that there's, if you look real close, you can see that it looks like a film strip and a waveform. Since I created the new sequence, it put that sequence within this folder. I don't want it in this folder because I don't organize my elements this way. So I'm going to drag this element and put it over into cuts. It names the sequence after the shot. I don't really like that name, so I'm gonna do, let's see, New York edit. And then there you go, and that's your sequence. So if you ever accidentally close your sequence by, say, pressing X, and you don't know what happened, you just come back over here, New York edit, double click it, and boom, there's your sequence again. Nothing has changed, it's all still there. So because I only have one shot that's 13 seconds and 22 frames, within my sequence, or within my timeline, that's how long my edit is so far. So if I go over here, also another cool thing about Premiere, if you want to just have the audio or just have the video, these little symbols right here will do that for you. So say I like the audio of the shot, even though there isn't any, and I only want to pull out the audio because I want to put other footage over that audio, I can click it and it'll show me the audio. There's no waveforms because there's no audio. But I click it and I drag it, and then it only brings down the audio. So as you can see right here is the video, and down here is the audio. if I only want to bring the video, I click the film strip, and the film strip brings down only the video. So there's now no audio. If I want to put other audio underneath it, or a song or something or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and undo that, because I don't want that in my timeline. It doesn't make sense to have the same shot twice in the edit. So say I want to pick another shot to add to my timeline so that I can continue to tell the story of New York, because all I have right now is Times Square. To pull another shot in, first you gotta bring it into the source window by double clicking it. So I want to do pix 001133. So I double click it, and I can view it in here. Nice shot of a cruise ship. It reveals the New York skyline, and I like this shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the timeline. So I'm going to say I want to come in right around here, hit I to add my in point, hit O to add my out point, which is where the clip is going to end. Let's say I don't want the audio of this shot, so I'm going to click this little icon, this video icon right here, drag it down. And instead of dragging it to create a new sequence this time, I'm going to drag it over onto the timeline. I want it after the original shot, so I'm going to add it right there. And now it is in my timeline. So see, there's a cut right there, going from one shot to the next. I don't really like the way that feels, so maybe it'd work better. I don't know if I put that shot before. A wider shot before a close-up seems to work sometimes, especially with aerial footage. So let's watch this. Works well enough. Pretty cool cut, pretty cool footage. And that's pretty much all there is to selecting footage. Anyways, thanks for watching another exciting VideoFort tutorial. Tune back in next week for more exciting tips and tricks. Thanks again.